we're going to be putting all of that together. And instead of me giving you guys my willy-nilly journey, you guys are going to get it from two of the top dogs in that arena, like that have helped so many people do exactly what I did, but in a much faster path. And so I'm super excited to have them tonight. And like I said, we'll just jam here for a little bit. We're still, everyone is a little, late sometimes. Instead of me having to, keep letting people in and disturbing the class, we're just going to wait here for just a couple of new minutes. Do we have any new members here who've never been on a live call? Or has everyone pretty much been on a live call so far? Any new members here? Yeah, I think everyone's like, yeah. Dina's pretty new. Dina is pretty new. She's in my premium program as well. I see a couple of premium faces in here today, so that always makes me happy too. You guys just can't get enough of me. You guys get me in premium, and then like you're like, I'm gonna get her twice in a day.
You can never have too much. Azelle, I love how colorful your whole background is. Your apartment.
I work in the toy industry, so it's a lot of toys.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm.
My whole life.
Azelle, weren't you recently on a podcast with Amy Porterfield?
Yes, and this morning I interviewed Amy Porterfield from my podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
really cool. So
congratulations.
Cool. Thanks. I was like, can we be best friends? Thanks.
She seems incredibly nice.
I know they always say don't meet your mentors, right? Because you'll be disappointed. But so far, I'm like, you're pretty nice. Nice.
I love it.
Super freaking cool. Congratulations on that. When I saw that, I was like, that's awesome.
That's
like
so
Amy Porterfield was literally one of the first, if not the first podcast I ever listened to whenever I came into this space.
Same
here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, look how many people are like, me too. So,
yeah, I think she was one of the first webinars I ever watched way back in like 2014 or something like that, 2013.
So cool.
That was before I jumped out, but yeah. She was probably one of the first webinars I ever watched too for DCA. Yeah, I'm sure.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of Amy fans in here tonight.
Yeah.
She's old school.
She's old school.
She's just been around. Like she's like an OG.
She's one of the originals. Yeah. Jeff Walker, Amy Porterfield, Frank Kern. There you go.
I asked her, I was like, what did you do? Because you didn't have an Amy Porterfield to look up to. She actually looked up to Marie Forleo.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, B school. She's a big B school promoter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we're locking in at like 5:07. So you know what? I'm just gonna let people in as they're coming in, and I am just super excited to have these two here tonight. I'm not, you guys know that I'm never going to bring anyone here who I don't 100% trust, because I know that you guys have my trust, and you guys know that I'm not just going to bring any Tom, Dick, or Harry in here. You guys know that I'm very vocal about fake gurus and fly-by-night experts. And these two are no fly-by-night experts. They have actually walked the walk, and they teach exactly what they do. They're not going to show you guys how to do what they're doing tonight and then go and do something completely different. And anyone who does exactly what they say they do, like, and they teach it, are like number one in my book. Because how many of you guys have ever taken a course? Because I know I have, like, taken courses from people that teach you one thing and then they do the complete opposite. Like one time I took a course from someone who taught people how to build their entire funnel system, yet he made 7 figures without even a funnel, like sending people through a funnel or running ads. And that was my very first shock of like the whole internet marketing business. I was like, wow, I was like, there's a lot of people selling things that they've never truly done before. And so Jake and Ashley, and I could back this up because they come from good people. My mentor, they're like personal friends of my mentor. And so I love my mentor to death. And so that's how they came into my world. Mm-hmm. And so I am super excited to have them here tonight because I get this question a lot. Laurel, you have such a just very perfect ascension model that goes from the $7 to the premium into your higher ticket agency model. How did you come up with that? Like, how did you come up with the pricing? How did you come up with the way that you were going to structure it? And I am going to be the first to say that I did it willy-nilly. Like, actually, like, people think that like, oh, I just invented the $7 program and that was the first thing I ever did. Actually, that was the last thing I did. And I had my agency model that was first, right? I always tell people like, getting the fast path to cash is awesome because then it gives you the cash to be able to explore other things, right? So I always like get that out of the way that I didn't start with my $7 program. That was the very last thing that I did. But the one change that I did make that was a pivotal one in my business, and Jake and Ashley and I were just talking about this, my mentor shifted what my premium membership is now, used to be a high ticket. And that was the pivotal moment in my business when Nick Peterson told me, you know what, you could help a hell of a lot of other people if you took your high ticket and you created a premium membership model. Yep. And that was literally the decision that changed everything for me in my business and how I moved forward. And it's just, I want to share all of the information that got me to where I am with you guys. And these two right here know exactly how to get you guys there so much faster than me, because you guys know I am the marketing expert. And the reason that I have Jeff Moore, and I see Jeff Moore's wife, Doreen, in here tonight, he's one of my mentors. Nick Peterson, you know, Jake and Ashley are like the big dogs of what they do here. So we're just going to jam tonight, if that's okay with you guys. We're just going to talk about like all of the things that I did in order to get here. And they're kind of going to be like, well, you know what, we would have told you to do this and it would have gotten you there a little bit faster. And they've brought their training that they do with their own private students that shows them how to do the math on how they should actually set this entire thing up. So I'm super excited. They're going to get you guys there so much faster than I would, because I am just like the type of person, I'm hell of a good marketer, not to toot my own horn, but I like am not the best business person. So I'm super excited. So Jake and Ashley, I have been rambling for a little bit. Why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell them what you do? And then let's just kind of like get into the training.
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. So yeah, we're Jake and Ashley. We're married. We're business partners. We're parents. We have 3 kids. You might hear a kid run through. We've bribed them with their iPads to be quiet for the evening. Mm-hmm. But that's life, such is life, which is so the reason why we both are entrepreneurs, so we could balance it all. So quick background about me, and then Jake will go. So I spent 14 years in brand marketing, running brands, teams. I would come up with an idea and I would build the entire team, whether it was manufacturing, operations, finance, the advertising agency, everything, R&D. And we would essentially take this idea and have it to become like a real product that would be sold on the shelves at like a Target. And so that was my zone of genius. And I loved brand marketing. I absolutely loved working for these brands. The longest brand I ever worked for was Cliff Bar, which is a organic food company. So I love business. I love building businesses, but in the back of my mind, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so Jake jumped out before me and I watched him and I was like, well, if he can do that, I think I can do that too. And so, yeah, so I jumped out, and over time we actually became business partners, which was not the intention out of the gate, but it just worked so well. We think differently. And I think our clients love that male-female perspective on their business. I think that's really an interesting thing that we bring to the table. And we have different skill sets, but that complement each other. And yeah, we have 3 kids and we're just balancing it all and doing everything we can. And we're just kind of building our business and building our dream.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of have we have very similar paths. So brand marketing, heavy corporate for a very long time. Same thing, 14 to 16 years or whatever, working for very large international brands that you would recognize, everything from footwear to other kind of consumer products to anything. And I really kind of was in charge of market activation and increasing market share within new markets. So like, basically they would say, hey, listen, we need you to run Western Hemisphere of the brand, of the business. How are you going to do that? Oh, and you have to do it with this many dollars. And, it was always kind of a thing where, okay, well, I'm challenged to do something very creative. Now I have to get really, really effective and efficient with how I do this. So I always had to look for the biggest bang for the buck and what was really going to move the needle, and do it from everything from a local marketing to a large global scale or half global scale at that point. So I was very just creative in how I would go out and approach it. I wasn't blanketed anything. And I think that's one thing I've always carried on with everything, is we never do anything blanketed. Mm-mm. Everything has to be very, very dialed in. So left there, I started an agency working with, again, very national, large brands, and doing the exact same thing, which realized soon that I was still working for someone else, even though I owned the agency. So I left there finally, and started my consultancy. So now I do the same thing, just doing it on a smaller level. And of course, realized, and that's kind of the whole reason why we do like the Freedom Framework, mm-hmm. is because, we do have kids, like I said, we like to enjoy our time. We like to be able to do that. And I don't want to work for someone else. So we're very, very specific and dialed in and custom on how we set up our businesses, how we set up our offers, how we set up our fulfillment systems, how we set up pricing. Everything is extremely strategic, and how it's laid out in order for us to have 100% view on where it's going and control of how our day goes. Because, and we'll talk about this later, but we have our times, and I know, Laurel, you're big on bumpers. We're both Nick believers in that sense. So it really kind of drives everything for us, but that's what we do. So we do it for ourselves, and we help our clients do it. And we've done it for, businesses up to 25 million, trying to figure out how to take their big portfolios of messed up, jumbled offers and products and pricing and fulfillment and operations, and really just streamline it to something that makes sense, that they can have shared resources.
But I think what we realized throughout this process is that we so love working with solopreneurs.
Yeah. So
we love working with people that are more early stage, right? And because you're hungry and you're driven and you're eager and you want it. And we set out to, because I think, and I'll just say it, we've been burned in stuff we've invested in, and it just never feels great. And so for us, it was like high integrity, high intention, and it's create the thing that you wish you had when you were starting out, mm-hmm. And so no more wasting thousands and thousands of dollars. Is you can create, just like you did, Laurel, like something accessible for early stage entrepreneurs, right? So that's us in a nutshell.
Well, we'll get into it. I think where that leads and where you'll go is that's part of the pricing conversation, right? Because you have a great story, and I love your story about mm-hmm. how you fell in the $7 and why you went in a completely different direction than what everyone else was telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll speak to that, but yeah. So that's a nutshell. That's what we do. So,
but I think that what you guys just said speaks to so many people here in a way that, like, how many of you guys want to get to that freedom stage, but you don't want to worry about hiring other people and employees and other things like that? Like, that's me. Like, me and my wife, like, everyone is like, well, why don't you scale the $7 group to the moon and back? And why don't you scale your premium, and you could hire coaches and all of that stuff? That I have no interest in like, anyone who comes into my premium program gets 100% me. I don't mm-hmm. hand them off to a coach. How many of you guys have ever joined a high ticket program and you were expecting that coach to actually help you, and then you get handed off to one of their coaches, right?
Oh my God.
So I think so many people here want to build a business that is sustainable, that can get them the money that it takes to actually fund their priorities, not make $100,000 in 90 days. That's not what we're all about. We're all about making the money that's going to be able to fund your lifestyle, not show off any Lamborghinis and all of that stuff. It's just about creating a business that's going to allow us to do the things that we truly want to do. Mm-hmm. And I know that you guys have like an amazing, training for us tonight, because like I was pulled in so many directions whenever I first came on the scene. I was pulled into like affiliate marketing. Like whenever people knew that I knew marketing really well, there were so many people that were pulling me in so many different directions, saying I should do high ticket, I should do this, and I should do that. And I just honestly just went with my gut. And I wish that Jake and Ashley would have been around at a time whenever I first came on, because I was led in so many high ticket directions and all of this stuff, and it just never felt good.
No.
And everyone kept telling me, well, you need to hire a team, you need to expand your agency, you need to like do this. And it's like, I don't want to be in charge of employees. I knew that there was going to be a better way. And so why don't we start with that? Because I know so many of you guys, how many of you guys, let us know in the chat, how many of you guys have one offer that you're ready to turn that one offer into an entire business model? How many of you guys are stuck there where you have a really good offer, but you're just not sure how to actually turn it into an entire business? Yes, I'm seeing me. Yes, me. Yes, me. And so let's just start there. Like, let's do some math. Like, Jake, let's start there. Like, let's start like, how do we take one offer and realistically, as a solopreneur, turn that one offer into an entire business that's going to work with our lifestyle?
And I think really quick before he jumps into the math of things, like I think you said something so important is that, a lot of us have been burned in those big programs, right? And you said it, they were trying to force you into this space with your business that just didn't align with what you wanted because they weren't listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because the business that they grew and that they're running isn't necessarily the business that you wanted to run. And there's not just one way. And I think that's such a freeing feeling, and knowing that there is a way to lay it all on the table in terms of what you want, right? And maybe what you want will change in 5 years and you're going to want some bit, a bigger machine, but it's about what you want.
It's not going to change. I don't want a bigger machine. I've seen the bigger machine. I've been a part of those bigger machines. And I'm like,
no,
I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's funny, and I can laugh about this now, and I tell this story a lot, is I was told the $7 program was going to be the worst mistake that I
remember you telling us that.
That's what I was talking about.
Like I've been told by so many people that the $7 idea was like the worst.
Yeah.
and look, and just look.
Because you can't throw a rock without hitting someone who tells you that is an awful idea. That if you have your one offer, you shouldn't be selling anything for less than 5, 10, 16, 20, whatever $1,000.
Did that person come up with a $7 offer after they watched you?
What's funny is now I'm seeing and I'm not saying that it was because of me or my offer, but if you notice, now it's like the $7 offer is kind of like the people keep sending me screenshots. They're like, aren't these people the ones that were so high ticket and now they have all of these low ticket offers? And I just think that it's just you have to come at business from a perspective of you want to help people. But here's the caveat to this, and we're going to talk about this today, is you cannot help people until you're in a position in yourself that you could actually offer something to help people at a lower price. Because that's the thing that gets people into a lot of trouble, is they go into it and they want to help a lot of people. That thing where they're when you get on a plane, they're like, please put your mask on before you help other people. I see a lot of people get themselves into these low ticket offers, but that low ticket offer isn't producing the lifestyle that the person who's releasing that low ticket offer wants. And so therefore they're not at best for their students, because they themselves are not in a great situation. And I just want to be totally transparent. I would not be the person that I am in the $7 offer if I didn't have the income coming in from my higher ticket offers, in order for me to have fun and be open and just have so much fun with no pressure to sell you guys in the $7 offer. I think that makes a huge difference because there's no pressure.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely important. And that kind of talks to an argument that we get into quite a bit about, what are you? Are you a high ticket person or a low ticket person? And honestly, I think it's a myopic, it's a very short-sighted stance to draw a line, because honestly,
why can't you be both?
You need both. You need both. And if you're going to be low ticket, it better be strategic just for that reason. Is that we see that all the time. People coming out saying oh, well, I have something for $37. We're like, okay, you're not going to pay your mortgage on $37. That it can serve a purpose, but you better have a massive machine behind that $37 to get the volume in order for that to pay your mortgage or get you to where you want to go. And that in itself means that your net isn't going to be that big because it's called gross and, net. It's the difference, so all the screenshots are all BS. So it's kind of like how.
Oh my God, yes, screenshots. Oh my God, don't even.
It's ridiculous.
And I've done ads for these people too, like where
Yeah.
they'll do an ad and they'll have a screenshot, and I'm looking and I'm like, well, you guys, yeah, you had $1 million launch, but we spent $750,000 in ads.
Right.
Not quite accurate.
Exactly.
No,
Right.
just a smidge off.
Right. And so just to your point, and that's why we have, our 3 offers. That's and 3 offers really can be born from your 1 offer, but there's 3 offers. And they have 3 different reasons and 3 different strategic standpoints. And you can have more than that, but why? I don't really know why you would do it. I mean, you can, and we'll talk about that, but that's when you start advancing. But really the 3 offers, and they all serve a purpose. We have, and we'll get into this, one's an acquisition offer.
Yep.
One's an engine offer, and one's an infusion offer. And that's
I like that engine offer. The engine just sounds so very empowering.
Well,
That's like your main offer, right? Like the engine offer, like that's like the thing that you want to sell the most of.
That is, yes, but
Yeah.
but do that. That's where your biggest impact goes. So like if you go, I really love doing this, that typically we kind of go, okay, that's kind of where we're going to start thinking about your engine offer. And that's typically the very first offer. So I see people talking about like, I have a signature offer and I want to sell the shit out of it. That is an engine offer statement if I ever heard one. Okay. So now the chances are you're probably fulfilling on that like we would an infusion offer. And an infusion offer is number 3. So the infusion offer is kind of like what you're talking about. That's kind of like that we call it a cash infusion.
Yeah.
That's a waterfall of money that comes into your business on a periodic standpoint that allows you to pay for the little stuff, allows you to bank money for the business. So when you want to start, when you have a growth opportunity presented in front of you, right? So when Laurel comes to you and she goes, I have this great idea. We need $8,000 for ad spend. And you go, I have $8,000 for ad spend. Let's go and turn that into $180,000 in revenue, right? It's like you have the money there in order for your business to grow. It's cash infusion.
An infusion can
So
also.
would that be like, you know what, I need an infusion of cash. So I'm going to go and you know what, I'm going to go take on another agency client because that's going to be a quick infusion of, okay, cool.
It can be a one-on-one offer. It can be like a mastermind. It can be a little higher ticket. We're thinking a little higher ticket.
And most people, the offers they have right now, typically, most likely will become what you would consider to be an infusion offer because they're spending a lot of money. They're spending a lot of time fulfilling on that stuff. So imagine you're a one-on-one coach. Now, I don't know how many people here are one-on-one coaches or spend their time doing one-on-one coaching. But as you know, as someone, we have one-on-one clients as well. We have private clients. But as you know, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy to fulfill on that. It takes a lot of emotional energy. It takes a lot of stress. It's big. And so that typically would then be pushed into something we would call an infusion because it's something that you go, my business will no longer rely on me taking one-to-one. But my revenue and my profitability on that is so high that I will now only do that once every 6 weeks, or I will do that once in a while, or I'll take one at a time or something that I know that I plan for. That money is bankable because your engine offer now is the thing that's actually driving the revenue for your business. The engine offer is actually the thing that's getting you the money and the revenue net to pay for your life, to pay for your house, to pay for your business, to pay for the things that you want to accomplish in life. And then upfront, the acquisition offer is there to acquire, right? And it's
the thing that sells the thing.
It's the thing that sells the thing, right? And we'll talk about how we kind of break that off. Now we kind of think about those. We had some questions last night from someone about how, they just gave us a quick idea about what their offer is and saying, like, if I just did this, would that be an acquisition offer? And, the answer typically is no, because people think that like, well, I'll just change my primary offer in order to acquire people, or I'll come up with a small little training and that will be it. And yes, I understand, like a webinar, someone could call a webinar an acquisition tool. Okay. That's what they're used for. People go out, they watch this training, they come in, they do this, but at the same time, the webinar is not producing money. It's not producing a known client. It's not producing someone who is now phased out of their current phase, ready to jump in to what you really do. It's someone who's now interested in maybe what you could provide as a service, as a coach, as something. What we want to do is we want to produce someone who now needs what you actually offer, right? Because they phased out of the acquisition offer. The acquisition is actually a result, right? So
acquisition doesn't necessarily mean lead generating, because I think people get those two mixed up. Like, so you're talking about an offer that is going to get people to spend money.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, one is that we want every single thing after the acquisition offer to be pure profit. We want anyone that comes in our engine offer, we want to actually set it up to where we're only fishing in our acquisition pond for those people. Right. And then the people that we graduate to Infusion, we can pull from the Infusion. It's just, you're not marketing to those people. But, a lot of people go, okay, well, they're ascending. Now, this is where it gets a little different.
I think let's give like a really clear example of what, like if I'm a visual person, right? So if I were to, and there's a lot of different kinds of acquisition offers and engine offers and infusion offers that would be right for your business, right? Just because it looks good in someone else's business doesn't mean it's right for you. So like, I think a really simplified like visual of this would be like a mini workshop, right? You'd have a $37 mini workshop that absolutely gives the person that's watching it a result. It's not a fluff webinar. It's an actual thing that gives a result. From there, those people move or ascend into your engine offer. That engine offer could be a premium membership, right? It could be something like that, where you're having monthly reoccurring revenue, something to that, like kind of, if you think about that. And then out of there, you pull up to like a one-on-one higher ticket, or like a smaller mini kind of inner circle program. And the beautiful thing about it is, as they move through your 3 offer sequence, you see who's coming in. You're paying for everyone coming in at the acquisition place, right? You start organic, you validate it, and then you move into paid ads. And those people then move into your engine. And from there, because you're not relying on that infusion offer, right? So you can be more selective in who moves up into that offer. You don't have to take everybody. So you get the freedom of saying, okay, I only have 5 or 6 spots, right? For my one-on-one, who wants it? And when a spot opens up, you have this pool of people that are ready to ascend into that higher ticket with you. But then throughout that whole process, like, they are so ingrained in your process and in how you go about business, right? They're really ingrained in your entire process, that it's just like this beautiful, it's very fluid, if you will.
When we kind of map these out, we call it really kind of an offer landscape, right? And that's because it's really the same offer. If you think about it from beginning to end, it's the exact same journey. It's just that what phase are they in? Right. And if they come in, they start at the acquisition, they're really in phase 1. Phase 2 is your engine. And then some will actually be there. And then when you want to, you can pull them up into phase 3. And that's kind of how I look at it. So it's like, a lot of people go, okay, well, ascension ladder, value ladder, or something like that. And what we see in the market, what we see is kind of the problem that a lot of people have, a lot of new coaches especially, is that everything is so compartmentalized, right? They come out and they go, well, I'm going to create 5 offers. I drew my little step ladder thing, and now I got 5 offers, and they're all these different prices. I'm going to start with the 27, then I'm going to go to 197. Everything's a 777. And everyone's just going to ascend that. And you go, okay, great. In a perfect world, they would, but it's not a perfect world, and chances are they're not going to. But even if they did, this is my biggest issue with that, is that each one of those offers, each one of those products that you develop, if you think about it, not as a ladder, but just these silos, that's how they're set up, because each one of those has a different fulfillment system. Each one of those has a different starting and end point, right? They're separate products. And so when we look at, like, as a solo, and remember, under all this, we're solopreneurs. We don't want this big machine, right, to run our lives. We don't want to have to hire a bunch of people to manage all this stuff. We don't want to have to spend 40 hours I say 40 hours a week. I don't want to work 40 hours a week, but we don't want to have to spend 100 hours a week doing this. We don't have to want to be on calls all day. We don't have to be tied to our computers all day long. We have lives, we have kids, we have vacations, we have all the stuff we want to do. So if you have all those offers are compartmentalized, you're starting over every time. That's a new fulfillment system. It's a new product. You don't have a sequence, you have a collection of 6 different products that, depending on who sees them, might buy one or the other, hoping that they continue to spend more money with you. And it's just not an efficient and effective way to set it up. And I think that a lot of people get tripped up that way, and they get bogged down because the fulfillment on it becomes a giant ball of stress. And so we say, listen, we have one offer and we set it up in phases. We have an acquisition front end, which typically is, like I said, the thing that sells the thing. So I think if anyone here has a program, and coming into your program, most of the programs that we get dealt with initially are front loaded. And by what I mean by that is that when you come in week 1 through whatever, we're going to teach you everything you need to know in order for this to really get traction. Right. And then we start actually producing some money or producing some results or something. That whole front end, I have to teach you this stuff before you can really learn to use the stuff. And that is kind of the mundane stuff that you end up doing over and over again. That's the stuff that is really not a moneymaker on either side of the table. People get bored with that stuff because they're like, I want to make money. I want to do something.
It's the stuff that you have to check the list off that gets them ready for the next thing.
Right.
It sets the foundation.
So we tend to kind of.
So how would you guys like come up with because there's so many people on here.
Mm-hmm.
I think mostly everyone here, and let us know in the comments, because the more that you guys participate in this, definitely take advantage that Jake and Ashley are here. A lot of people pay them a lot of money to do this, and you guys get access to them for free right now. How many of you guys have a low ticket offer that you guys are like stuck on, where do I go from here? Or how many of you guys have a high ticket offer and you're stuck on, where do I go from here? Because I know that I'm familiar with a couple of your offers, and I think actually having a real life example of and again, Jake and Ashley are here. They don't know that much about your offer, so we can use it as an example of what they would do, but just to kind of help them clear up any confusion on, because I know so many of you guys have a low ticket offer. I think I see that the most is people coming into the $7 program to have a low ticket offer and they're stuck. They don't know where to go to the next level. So Dina, she says, for example, she has a free Facebook group where she's doing strategy calls to sell a 3K offer. Mm-hmm. Dina, do you want to tell us a little bit about what is that high ticket offer?
Yeah. So I serve portrait photographers and help them create a sales funnel to get their calendars booked up and build, so they're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, and it works like magic. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing. I have tons of social proof. I have photographers making 10, 20, 30,000 plus a month. And so I share my little wins inside the group, and then I'm using, I'm part of a clients and community, which teaches you how to do a Facebook group. Yeah. And they're all like, go high ticket. In fact, my offer used to be $1,395. Then I raised it to $3,800. And those calls just kill me. They're just crushing my soul. I hate them. Yeah. And I don't really
have a perfect example of someone who needs you guys, because.
So wait, the high ticket calls with your private clients is killing you?
Well,
or the sales calls.
It's convincing them that I can help them, and showing them how I help them, and I do help them, and it's awesome. But I'd like to be enrolling. So just last week, I was like, what if we just went to 1997? What if it's just easier? Maybe that feels lighter. Maybe that feels better. But I do work with them heavy for 4 weeks. And I actually come from an ad agency background. I've been an art director. I'm a commercial director. I'm a filmmaker. I know the whole ad game really in and out. But, and that's what helped me create this. I'm also a portrait photographer now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
She's got a really good, she's got a $3,800 offer that literally builds sales funnels for photographers so that they can have nonstop clients. And she keeps wanting to lower prices. I'm like, no. Like
So-
$3,800 is a steal for giving, and you guys do it for them, don't you?
Yeah, we do it for it. Wait,
Oh, wow.
I got tired of teaching them how to build Squarespace landing pages and how to learn the ads manager. And finally, I'm just like, let me just do it for you. It's just easier, you know?
Yeah.
So
So
Don't lower your price.
no, don't lower your price. And that's what I say. Like, I'm not high ticket, I'm not low ticket. And it has to make sense. And I look at that and I say, the reason why you just said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you go, what if I just lowered it to 1997? Because it just would be lighter, it'd just be easier. Because what you're trying to do is, like, what I'm hearing is that the sales calls are dragging you down because you feel like you have to convince everyone
Right.
the value of $3,800 for this, right?
Yeah.
And how are you getting them into your group? You're in clients community, so are you doing ads to your Facebook group?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've grown my group from 400 people at the beginning of this year to 1,500 now.
That's great.
That's amazing. Okay. So, all right. So really what,
On average, how many sales calls do you get a month?
20, 25, 30.
okay.
And I'll sell like, every month it's been different. Like in
Sure.
January, I sold 24, but at a lower price. And then I got hacked in March. Oof, lost my whole ad account. That was rough. Took me weeks to get that
Right.
back on track. So now I'm like, this month I've sold 9,
That's, hey,
but not at 38 because I went down to 1997 for half of them.
okay. But
So-
your fulfillment on them is the same.
I've decided that I don't want to spend as much time with them. I want to do like Laurel and just give them like 2 days a month. And lately before I was giving them 2 days a week. That's too much.
And that's what I'll say real quick. And then I know Jake has like so much to say, is that's like the natural progression of a one-on-one coach.
Yeah.
You love serving your clients like you do, right? But in time, it will start to happen where you can't scale a one-to-one business
Mhm.
because your time just gets smashed.
Well, I've been enrolling them in what I'm calling group coaching. So
Okay.
I'm one-on-one only when they like freak out or need help or whatever, which seems to happen a lot.
So I'll say this. So there's one thing we didn't talk about is your time. So you're talking about, you're about 20 to 30, maybe, depending on how many, sales calls. How long do they take? About an hour? I mean, if you're doing a lot of-
Some of them are 2 hours.
okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're at maybe anywhere from, let's say you don't work on weekends, you're at anywhere from maybe, let's say, an hour to 2 hours a day on sales calls if we average it out over the month. Okay. Now you're closing about 9 of those. So if you look at that, I mean, that's a pretty good close rate. I mean, that's a really good close rate, right? So which means that, and I would probably attribute that to the fact that they're in your group, right? So they're seeing how you operate and they're getting to know you. That's awesome. I love that. But if we think about it, we go, okay, what you're doing is that you're spending money on the front end for ads,
Mm-hmm.
basically to go into your group, right? Where you have
1,500 people.
right. So let's say this: how much money do you spend on ads on a monthly basis?
$2,000, about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, $2,000 on a monthly basis. Okay.
So one client covers roughly your
Right.
ad spend.
Right. So I'm just thinking about the liquidation of it, because that's a lot of what we try to do with the acquisition. The acquisition offer is designed to liquidate. It's designed to make sure that you're profitable before you even have the chance to even bring someone into your real business, right? And so I look at a Facebook group, and I know that model, and I'm a fan of those guys anyway. And so it's a good model, but it's you're paying for the opportunity to spend more time with them and get closer to them over a longer period of time in order to bring them up. And that's why you're getting like a 50% close rate, is because you've paid for that duration. You paid for that. You bought their proximity.
Plus
to
the
do it.
CNC guys tell you to go do live stream every week. So then you're like coaching, teaching for free for another hour, which turns into more,
That is the biggest mistake. And I see it all the time. Like people, like the biggest mistake that anyone could do if they have a Facebook group is to go live in it every single week.
Yeah.
That is like the biggest mistake.
I'm like on month 5 of this now, and I'm starting to agree. And I'm wishing that like looking back over the last 5 months, if I had been, instead of inviting them to a free Facebook group, I could have been selling them for $7. Here, let me show you how to set up your ads manager or whatever.
Okay, so this is where I'm going with it. And I don't, honestly, I'm never in the game to knock anyone else's stuff. Everyone has their method, and like those guys know what they're doing. So I'm not here to knock that. And it's working for you. I mean, look at you. You're able to close 9 clients in a month, right? You're
Gone
able to
from
make
400
money.
to 1,500.
I'm making like 20, but on the other hand, I have a team.
Yeah.
So I don't get to keep all that,
Right.
Oh,
So,
yeah, no.
so what we kind of focus on is making sure you're just deliberate on exactly how much time you're spending to what that works out to be from. I'm huge on effective hourly rates.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much I get paid every single hour, right? We know how much it is.
And
Like,
per program.
per offer, per moment, right? And it's just like, I'm huge on it because I never want,
It might sound overwhelming, but it's really not hard to get to that math.
but you know this.
I totally agree. Like I tell my photographers, your time is worth $500 an hour. So don't sit there and do a $20 an hour retouching job. Send that shit out. Like, you be careful of your time, protect your time, and outsource what,
Right. And so I hear you say something like, well, maybe I reduced the price in 1997. Well, what you're doing ultimately is that you're just actually making yourself almost 50% less profitable on an hourly basis. It's not going to make it easier to buy. It's going to make you feel easier, like, oh, this is going to be a smoother sell. And then on the flip side of that, when talking a little bit more with you, I hear you say, I got tired of teaching them how to set up all this stuff. I got tired of teaching them how to do this. And that's like this drag on mundane thing that you're like, oh my God, if everyone already knew this coming into where I want them to be, my life would be easy. I would be able to teach like that. They would need me less. They would learn more. They'd climb faster and they get results better. That's what we look for. Those moments where we go, okay, instead of taking your 3,800 down to a 1997, why don't we actually create something else that becomes the acquisition up front?
Yeah.
That actually it makes your 3,800 100% profitable because they're paying you X amount of dollars up front to learn all the stuff that you don't want to teach them. That when they get to you, you're like, you've created your perfect core client. And that is the absolute goal. I want to create the perfect core client to when I'm ready to run with you, you're ready to run with me. And I don't have to mess around with anything. And let's just go. And
it's kind of like, we work with people and they're like, well, I go on sales calls and, and I turn people down because they're not ready for me yet. I go, well, in my opinion, it's our job to get them ready for you. Because in 1 or 2 small tweaks, fine tunes, they'll be ready for you. So what can you do to get them ready for you? Right. So it's just thinking about your perfect client, taking them back 1 to 2 stages, saying, okay, like I'm going to deliver this product at the front end of my offer sequence. And by the time they're done with that, they're in this engine offer and they're rolling. Like they got this. And I didn't have to spend a whole lot of time getting them up to speed, but they had some major gaps that I needed to fill.
Yeah. And that's a perfect question to ask yourself is like, what do I wish all these people knew before they came to me? And that typically ends up becoming kind of like what we focus on as an acquisition offer. And it's kind of like, and this is the other cool thing that a lot of people don't think about this, is that when you take from your offer, when you take someone who's a photographer and you say, listen, I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you how to build a funnel that's going to pack your day full of appointments, right? And then you're going to have so much that you're going to have to hire an editor. You're going to be doing this. Someone's going to carry your bag. You're going to be great. But first, I got to teach you how to build all that stuff. And then you go, well, I don't want to teach you how to build that. So I'm going to do it for you. Well, there goes your profitability right out the window, right? So you sit there and you go, okay, I'm going to do it for you. Well, once they learn how to do it, in their head, it's not a win because that was just the thing they needed to get out of the way before they can really get the win, right? So when you break that thing off, you say, I wish everyone knew this before they came to me. When you break that stuff off and you treat it like an acquisition offer with an actual result, you don't know anything. I'm going to teach you how to build a funnel. You're going to have all this tech stuff. You're going to be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. And here's the end result. They win. They're like, yes, I know this. I'm smarter now. I won. I did something. Now what's next? Right?
Because when you solve one problem, you create another for your clients.
So we call them success points. And along this journey, along this offer fulfillment, you have to have those success points. And that's a massive success point when you cut that off the front. So now they have a moment to sit back, look behind them, see how far they came and went, this is working. What she's teaching me is working. When it's just part of that longer sequence, it's like, okay, look how much further we have to go. Right. So it's really kind of allowing them to pause and see how far they came. And so it helps them. It helps their motivation. It keeps that momentum for them when you do this for them. And it allows you to make more, allows you to make a lot more money, and it cuts down your fulfillment time. Because if they can do all that stuff, and you can automate this stuff, I guarantee you all the stuff you're doing on the front end for funnel and fulfillment can be SOP'd, it can be systematized, it can be run through, they can run, you know what I mean? That's all just manual kind of, gray matter stuff that they can learn how to do. They can checklist, they can do all the stuff. They have to check in with you eventually. But a lot of the stuff you can automate, right? So don't lower your price to $19.97, right? Think about where you really say, where am I in this process when it's really time for me to get excited and turn on the gas? And everything upstream from that needs to be looked at as kind of becoming more of your acquisition offer.
I've actually, I kind of have it built. I did, one of my lives was, here, let's set up your business manager and let's do all those new things you're supposed to do to get ready for iOS 14. So here's a video, here's how to do it. And then I made a little, and I gave it away for free, but then recorded it. So I have it as a little course.
Nice.
And, and those are the things I don't want to have to do.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah. So, and really, honestly, like the free stuff, like we say, a lot of people look at and I saw a comment saying from Jeremy saying like, what would be examples of some acquisition offers, and would someone do an online course for sale? So that kind of free stuff is great. And we consider free stuff. We don't consider it to be an acquisition offer. That's a legal lead gen, right? Just so everyone's clear on this. So like a webinar,
right?
Pre-training, that's lead gen. Okay. So let's say that you set that up and you go, hey, I got this great short free training on how, as a newbie, you can navigate the scary OS 14 change, right? And, or is that OS 14? Is that it? And it's confusing, and a lot of people don't even know about it, right? So if you can make that really easy for them, they go, great, now I'm empowered. Now I know how to actually get my thing, all those little red triangles that disappear off my computer. Now what?
Right.
That's your acquisition offer.
Yeah.
Right. You created, you solved the problem, but now they go, okay, now I'm clear to run. Where the hell do I run to? And you go, okay, here you go. And so now you move into your acquisition. So those little free things up front are great precursors to acquisition. But I just have to be clear, the acquisition offer is a paid offer. Okay. And it can be anything from a $7, as long as it's covering, as long as this ends up covering and liquidating, like on the back end, but a $7, $37, we have them all over the place. And once you actually have that acquisition offer, okay, this is important, those free things can almost be like, to use Laurel's spider web, right? If the free thing could be, you can have multiple free things as long as the next question after you're done with the free thing is, okay, so now what do I do with it? Boom, the acquisition officer is the answer to that, right? And that's
I know a lot of people ask this question too, Jake, because I see it coming up, is like the pricing. Honestly, guys, people do not see the difference between a $37 offer and a $7 offer. Like in the grand scheme of things, in the online world, it's the same thing. Like people get so caught up in the pricing.
I know.
Yeah. And really, honestly,
that's a good point.
Yeah. And because that's why bump offers are huge money makers. All right. Because you get someone, I mean, really, honestly, like, bump offers, I don't know, Laura, what percentage you see. We see about 40% uptake on any kind of bump that we have. So we just know that if we make an offer and we're going to put a bump in there, we can almost just calculate to the dollar how much more money that's going to make. And that can be the profitability. So that could be the liquidation, right? And we just math it out to know that if we hit 40% or maybe even miss at 30%, even at 30% with those two pricings put together, we can pay for what we see as kind of our acquisition cost for a client. And once they're coming into us, we know after that, the engine even if, and we have this all mathed out, that we know that if we have 20% or 30% of people or 40% of people come up to the engine offer, that front end acquisition is going to pay for that person, right? We're going to make money on that person. Okay. So but the important thing is, like Laurel said, the pricing is not as important on the acquisition. The acquisition offer is to cover any kind of ad spend, right?
Mhm.
If it's organic, you're already in the black, right? You're rolling, but it's there to cover any kind of ad spend, at least on a break even. Right? We've all kind of heard the self-liquidating offer. That's what it is. And if you have a bump, you're making money off the front. But it's not just about covering the cost, because you can cover the cost with anything. But the question is, will they actually move to the engine
Right.
offer? And that's the important thing to know. It's not just a build out of the air, pull out an offer and sell it for $7 with a bump for another 27. It's, what are they going to ask when they're done with that result? One, are they going to get to that success point and get that result? And two, what's the next question that's going to come into their head?
Can I ask you about this one? So my freebie that I've been giving away to fill this group, I've been giving away my booking script. So I have a magic booking script where a photographer can use it on the phone. And at the end of the call, the woman goes, hang on, let me go get my purse. And they make $300 every 20 minutes just to book that client in. And so that's
an incredible freebie.
I know. I was about to be like,
I should have been selling it.
Yeah.
And I've been selling it like, okay, now do you need the leads to have this conversation with? Now you need my Facebook ads coaching. So let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
You can get these,
Yeah.
so you can book them in.
That's a valuable freebie.
It's very valuable. Yeah, but I mean, that's the kind of thing is like, it's,
Huh.
so, okay, so let me get this straight. So you give away a free booking script
Mhm.
that once they get someone on the phone, they're pretty much,
Book
They're,
'em.
they're
they're
booked.
done. Yeah.
And then on the back end of that, you say, okay, now I've given you the power, I've given you the golden goose, but now we need to
You
figure
need
out,
leads.
right, now you need leads. Yeah, I mean,
You could even reverse that though,
yeah,
right? Like
you have to kind of look.
that's a pretty powerful bonus.
One of the biggest things that people think that they always need, it doesn't matter what business it is. I can talk to anyone, and I can talk, I mean, from someone struggling to make $2,000 a month to someone that's CEO of a business that's doing $30 million a year. It does not matter. When you ask them, what does your business need? They go, I need leads.
Right. Exactly.
I need leads. That's what I need. And it's so
But-
you
but
sit.
do you?
Yeah, it's like, no, you don't. It's like, if I tripled your leads right now, your business would tank, because you're not set up to take them. I guarantee it. But so you kind of have to think about like what people need. So yeah, it's a very specific person that goes, I have a problem. I'm getting lots of people on the phone, but I'm not booking all of them. And even if they're booking 2 out of 10, even if they're booking 2 out of 20, in
Mhm.
their mind, they're not saying, I need to learn how to book 10 out of 20. In their mind, they're saying, if I could just talk to 40 people, I would double my business. You know what I mean? People don't think about improving their conversion rates. People just think about increasing the opportunity.
Exactly.
Right. And that's why a lot of times when we deal with sales businesses and sales companies, we basically say, remove the word lead out of your mouth.
Mm.
People don't want to talk about opportunity, because when you say like, I'll get you more sales opportunities, people go, ooh, that's what I need. I don't need to be better at selling. I just need more chances. I just need, if I mess up twice as much, that means I've sold
I
twice
need
as
to put
much.
more people in the funnel.
Right. So it's so people think about leads. So I would maybe experiment with flipping those, like Ashley said.
I think that whatever you come up with as your acquisition or your engine, to me, because like, and I think this is important for everyone here, when you're thinking about your offers, and this is a little off topic, but I really love this topic. When you're thinking about the bonuses that you're putting into your offers, it's really important, because what we see a lot of people do is they just start throwing stuff in.
Yeah.
Throw it in. Oh, we did this 2 years ago. That was cool. Throw it in. Like keep tossing crap in the bucket, right?
Mm.
And all that does, because you feel like you have to overcompensate in a sense, because you're not quite sure if your offer is valuable enough. I'm going to tell you it is valuable enough, and stop throwing stuff in the bucket, because all you're essentially doing is overwhelming the crap out of your prospective client. So when you have bonuses, there's 2 filters for every bonus, and that bonus, that freebie is a killer bonus for, I think, probably for one of repositioned in your business. The bonus one is they always have to be intentional. Okay. So when you think about your prospective client, you have them on the phone. What are some of the obvious objections that you always get? Okay.
Expensive.
Well, but there's others, right? And so it could be, well, once I build this, how do I get leads? Like, but I'm not really great on the phone. Well, that's amazing, because I have a script that you can follow. Right? It's intentional. So it's going to overcome an objection that they have. So is there a business that a bonus you can strategically place in your offers that automatically removes like one of the most common objections that you get from your clients? And then the second is, and so your bonus is almost like a double whammy. Like, will it get them to the result faster? So think scripts, templates, all of these things, right? Like, because they're going to get tripped up somewhere along the process. So can I put something simple in to get them to the result? Because our goals as coaches and entrepreneurs, it's all results, right? It's transformation. We're in the game to help improve people's lives, businesses, finances, marriages, whatever it is, right? And so can you create a bonus that gets them to that result faster? A cheat sheet, that script is like perfect. I think that's being maybe underutilized in your offer sequence.
Yeah, they have it.
We're getting a question that, and this is a really good one. Reverend Carla has a really good question. How you keep saying, she says that we keep saying mapped out. How do we actually map out like a buyer's journey, or how do we create this ascension model, or how do we go from acquisition to, how do we figure out like which part of our offer is the acquisition offer? How do we figure out what's the engine, and then what is the one at the end that gets people like the infusion offer, right?
Yeah.
How do we determine that? I think that's where a lot of people are stuck here.
Yeah.
As far as like determining like how do we figure those things out?
It's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah, I do say mapped out a lot. Okay. So I'm a very visual person. So when I say mapped out, I literally draw this stuff out. No, again, it's we have to know that journey, that sequence. So like if you're a one-on-one coach and you have a one-on-one offer right now, we always say to people like, okay, let's just go back and get a snapshot of like the greatest one-on-one experience that you've had with somebody, right? Totally. And you took them through your process and they hit all these moments. They needed help here. I had to jump in here to help them. They had lots of questions on step 3, right? And And as we worked through this, they got to the end and they won. Who was that person? How did they flow through it? How did they consume the information, right? How did they consume that process that you've actually built for them? Where do they get tripped up? So once we kind of have a view of looking at that, what I like to do is say, okay, again, go back to what am I doing? What am I doing at the front end? Is this thing front loaded? They all are. They all are front loaded, by the way. All of them. You can look at them and it's the same pattern. But what am I doing up front that we spend a lot of time getting them ready to actually get like into the mix, into the results, right? So when I say mapped out, I literally will sit there and draw out each section of that process, list every single thing that we go through, list and mark where they had questions, where they got tripped up, what took extra time on a call for training, like where are people kind of like hitting these points of breakdown, or where do people go, oh my God, that's incredible, that changed everything, I love that, or something. Like you have to be able to literally map out, think about it as you're trekking through the mountains, and this is a break point. This is a great scenic place to look at the view. And like, you're literally mapping out what's happening here. And once you have a view of that, you can sit there and go, okay, well, everyone's breaking down in this front end. Okay. Everyone's breaking down in this front end. And so what do I need to do? I can either put a lot more into that front end, so everyone has to go through a lot of stuff, or I can just break that whole front end off and basically say, I'm going to focus on making sure people understand all this and give specific time and really go deep on training here. And I'm going to sell this to them initially because I need them to understand this. And once they get done with all that breakdown, now we're looking at all the scenic stuff. Now we're actually moving in. So I literally will map this out to be able to decide where it's best to actually break this up. Where can we explode it? Where do people go where they stop needing us so much and they start actually just working and thinking a little bit more, autonomously and making decisions and coming back and going, oh my God, so I tried this, tried that. When do they start thinking like us, like we want them to think? When do they start thinking like how we're trying to get them to think and start doing stuff on their own? We might break that off the back and go, okay, that kind of question and that kind of stuff gets big impact. That could become an infusion offer. So I kind of break off the heads and tails of these things and look at it and say, do we have a 3-offer sequence here or something we need to tweak? How do we change this around? And it typically is born from everyone's primary offer. And that's what I'm saying is that we're not just creating 3 separate random offers that we think go together because we like this or like that or like that. It's all the same journey. Because once we get done with one thing, we want them to go, I finished it. I'm better now. What's next?
Well, and I think one of the most important parts of this is understanding who your client is.
Yeah.
If you don't really understand who they are, that avatar, right? You're going to trip up in this process. Sometimes we see like early coaches kind of running through their businesses and just kind of like blindly running through it, not really focusing and paying attention to the journey that client's on. Where were they before? What happened in the middle? And then where are they going to go? Right. And so we're all on this path in various places in our businesses, regardless of what your business is. But yeah, it's like there's a beginning point, there's a middle part, and then there's a moment where they want more, right? They're going deeper because they've checked off all these boxes and they're ready to just go up. And that's your infusion offer. I mean, I think your business model is a perfect example of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if people want a visual, think about this, guys, because I see the questions going in and I think people are trying to figure out how do I put this into an ascension type model. So my my engine offer is my premium program. So it started off as that kind of higher ticket that I taught people over 45 days. And the thought was, well, once they're done with the 45 days, they're going to hand off their ads to me, right? With my agency model or one of my agency partners where I get a cut of it. And so when people were coming into my premium offer, one of the things that I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with people who've not installed their Pixel. I don't want to deal with people who've never placed a Facebook ad before. I don't want to deal with the people that don't have the common marketing knowledge. That's where the $7 model came in. What could I teach them in the $7 that's going to basically prepare people for premium? And so the $7 program is literally just a boot camp to get you guys prepared for premium, right? And I'm seeing all of the successes, and think about this, I'm thinking Andrea today posted a success. Ironically, Andre posted a success today in the $7 program. These are all people who got over the hurdle of knowing the foundations of placing Facebook ads and got their first win with a Facebook ad. And guess what? They're going to be excited and they're going to be like, Laurel, what do I do to get into premium? Because now, and so that's what you have to think about is what is that first hurdle? Like Jake and Ashley were just saying, what is that first hurdle that you absolutely need people to get through before coming to your next offer? Because that's the thing that could slow down a program really fast, is if you get a whole bunch of people who are in the certain vibe of a program, and then someone comes in and just slows the whole thing down. And so that's where I found my sweet spot is figuring out, okay, what do I need people to know? Just like what Jake said, what do I need people to know before coming to that next step? Because my first offer, honestly, guys, you guys are going to laugh. What was my very first offer? What do you guys all know me for? Facebook ads, right? You know what my first offer ever was? A 10-minute a day Instagram strategy. How unaligned was that, right? For what obviously I'm a social media strategist, so I thought it was a great idea, but ultimately I wanted to get people in my Facebook ad agency. It was so misaligned, right? Because I didn't know now how everything just needs to start, like just the journey. Like, you know how a lot of you guys are like saying like, well, I don't understand how to map things out. You guys know that 15 pieces of content exercise that I make you guys map out to where it starts with the sad face and then the smiley face. What Jake and Ashley are going over right now is essentially the exact same thing. Instead of mapping out content, we're mapping out the program, right? What is that first hurdle that you need to go to?
Mhm.
Boom, that's your acquisition offer. After they have a milestone, what is the first milestone that you want to go get them through? That's the acquisition. What is the second milestone? That's your engine. What is the ultimate milestone that they go? That is your infusion
Infusion.
offer.
And you know what's so important, I'll say this real fast, is that your clients will appreciate this.
Yeah.
Because if you are at a certain point in your business and you've all maybe felt this or seen this happen, and I think Laurel, you hit it right there. Like when someone's ready to like move up, ascend in Laurel's world, right? And they're ready to go premium. They've done all the stuff in the $7. They don't want to get tripped up in that stuff on coaching calls, right? They all want to be kind of in the same place, roughly, right? And so your clients really appreciate it because they're all in this moment kind of together, struggling in the same space. And so, and then they'll ascend up, right? And as you fix one problem, other problems arise and they grow and they need new strategies. And so they're kind of moving together, which is really cool. And then some will then move up into premium, right? When they want to get closer to Laurel, they'll go up into more of her agency offer, whatever it might be. So your clients appreciate that thought and intention on that journey as well.
And I will say this, and we'll use Laurel's model as a perfect example of why it works so well, is because one, it's full of integrity. Laurel did not produce an acquisition offer just to make money. She actually produced something that's easy to consume, that's easy for people to get into, that fits where they are in their business and meets them where they are in that phase, but it actually gets results. And that's the biggest thing that has to happen with your acquisition offer. It has to get a result. If someone comes in there and cannot turn that into a positive, if someone cannot have a +1, right? They come in flat, and if they do not have the opportunity to end at +1, a win, they will not continue on. They will not.
You
continue
have failed.
on. You have failed. You've captured money. Great. Go to dinner, buy something, but you have not created a client. You've not done what you're supposed to do. And that's, we want to talk about problems in the industry. That's one of the biggest issues I see with a lot of people like building ascension ladders. They're just building things. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't get someone anywhere closer to the goal other than giving you a credit card number for you to run through Stripe.
They're really thinking more of that transaction or a transformation.
And so like even in Laurel's business, you could be in Laurel's $7 for a year and do amazing things. We were in your $7 and we absolutely loved it. It taught us everything. We were like, oh my gosh, I'm running this, we're winning this, and we've paid a lot of money for other people to do all that stuff for us that didn't do anything, but $7 allowed us to win and win big, right? And that made us Laurel fans forever, right? Totally. And so that's the most important thing. Your acquisition offer does have to have that success point. It has to have a win. You have to be able to do something with it. And because again, you are creating your perfect long-term plan.
Someone asked this earlier in the chat. They said, so do you have to have all three before you go out? No, you don't. Laurel's a perfect example of that. No.
I only had one when I first started.
Yeah. And most people do. And the reality is you probably don't know what the perfect acquisition offer is when you're first starting, because you really have to get into it and you have to understand your ideal client and know their pain points and where they get tripped up and where those big wins happen. It just gets you more educated and informed about the people you're serving. And when you can do that, you can absolutely win by creating something really impactful on the front end.
I will say this.
And most of the people here have an acquisition offer. Like Dina, perfect example. Me, good example as well. My acquisition offer was free at some point.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started my $7 program, do you guys know how I started my $7 program? I literally started my $7 program with all of the free lives I was doing in an organized fashion with the cheat sheets that I give away. So you can look at my acquisition offer as something that I was giving away for free all along, was getting results, and I just moved it into a paid offer.
That's such a good point.
That's something that you could do too. Like you don't have to create an acquisition offer. Most of you guys who are probably watching this right now have an acquisition offer and you don't even know it.
Oh my, so we deal with this a lot with our clients. So we have one client right now out of Nashville, and they are the content creators of they're the kings of content creation. I mean, there's so much, I'm like, stop creating content. We have to do something with this content. And it's like, most people have packed so much value in their free stuff that it is, and your audience is getting so much impact out of it. You can package that stuff up and that becomes your acquisition offer. And someone asked if we do yes, we do an offer validation process for sure.
So yes. And as far as like the content, but what we had to do with all this free content, it's not just taking all the free content and saying, hey, do you want all my free content? Again, it's looking at it and saying, what out of this will actually lead them to the path that they're ready now to move on.
For sure.
Right. Because that's important. Because I mean, and Laurel, you know this, but I mean, like as creators, if we just loaded everything into an offer, people one day would learn about this, one day would learn about that. They go up, they go down. They kind of just would bounce around like ping pong around all this content.
Well, that was my point a while ago when I was talking about the Facebook group going live. That's literally like, and packaging your offers and giving bonuses. Like, that's why I like it. What you see in the $7 program is a very stripped down because like, I know Kaya was in my $7 program for a long time. I'm seeing a couple of familiar faces. You guys probably noticed that the $7 program has trimmed down tremendously because I did the same thing. I tried to pack as much value. And when we have a free Facebook group, what do? We throw content at people, and actually throwing content at people is what actually keeps people from moving forward because they're so overwhelmed. And so this is a really good example of why I needed Jake and Ashley back in the day, was because I was doing things, I mean, it worked, but like at the same time, there is a way to get people on that track to getting results faster. The more content we throw at people is actually standing in their way of getting results.
And I'll say this, I think it's actually like for us, right? It's easier for us to just throw stuff at them.
Oh, it's easy.
Let's be honest. Like, it's so easy. Sure. Just toss it at them. Boom. This is in my brain. Boom. It is harder for us to sit down and analyze and evaluate what we do and what's truly, truly valuable. And what is that path we're trying to take them on? It is harder for us to be disciplined and do less. Which is why we.
Yes, Pepper. Yes.
Which is why we actually look at this as taking the acquisition offer off the front end. Because again, if we can say, listen, if we just do these 3 steps, step 4 is moving into your engine offer. If we just do these 3 steps, and those are kind of our bumpers, those are our buckets, these 3 steps, all the other content that we've produced over the past 3 years that we want to give them, if that doesn't make sense within those 3 steps to get them in that journey, don't put it in there.
No, it
doesn't do anything. It doesn't. And actually, it probably isn't even good on the front end to even get them interested in an acquisition offer because there's no congruency. There's nothing there, right? So it's kind of like, I mean, be laser focused. People want to be led down a path. They want to be led down a journey. When they're looking for a result, it's as I say it all the time, like if someone pulls up and they ask for directions to, a restaurant that I know is only 3 blocks away, if I give them a 20-minute thing because I want them to go look at the ocean and see this view and, we don't live near the ocean. We don't live near the ocean. We live in Missouri.
Laurel does.
Yeah.
Laurel does.
Yeah. We have great lakes and beautiful stuff around here. But anyway, if I wanted them to go look at all this other stuff, they're going to get pissed off. I mean, that's just, it's not what they asked for. So it's like, I just want to make sure I just give them exactly what it is. So, and I think under all this, that kind of speaks to really, our 3 offer sequence is not just created out of what do we have in our pocket and how do we lay this out. Everything that we do, like I said, is very, very deliberate. It's very strategic in how it sets up. And Laurel, you know this, and I talked about it and I said it, bumpers and anyone who knows Nick Peterson and all this stuff, that's where you kind of learn about bumpers. But we designed everything based upon how much time we want to spend.
We call it a 3 container analysis.
Our 3 containers. So it's how much money we need to make in order to get everything we want in life. And I don't just talk about money, I talk about net, right? We got taxes, everything, blah, blah, blah. How much money our business needs to make in order for it to keep money and pay for our life. how much time I want to work. We have 3 kids. We don't really love working on Mondays. We don't work on Fridays, and we need to be done by 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay. We have a family lake house. We like to be able to take long weekends. We like to be able to do this stuff. We're very deliberate on that. That is it.
I mean, like for example, we have a client who, she's a parenting coach, and she has strict bumpers in her business, right? So she's a single mom, 2 kids, homeschools them. And so she can only be client facing 2 days a week. That's it.
2 days a week.
2 days a week. That's it. And we've known her for a while, and she came to us and she was like, so I can work 2 days a week and I want to hit my 6 figures. And we were like, okay. And so what we did was like, she's got serious bumpers inside of her life, right? But she has these financial goals and all this stuff. And so we essentially looked at her one-to-one offer. That's what we did. We looked at her one-to-one offer and we said, okay, and we have this thing that Jake is like the techie one. I'm not that person. So he created this beautiful thing, this tool where it's like, okay, so if we have your one-to-one offer, what can we create as your acquisition, right? She had been doing this free training, and it's like, this is the perfect thing that leads everyone into your business, right? That gets them in the right frame of mind. But she was sick of doing one-on-one. She was sick of it. She's like, by the end of my day, I'm exhausted. And the only way that I can actually grow my business and hit my financial goals is if I load in more clients. But I can't do that. Like, I can't do that. So we took her one-to-one. We stripped down this amazing engine offer, which became a group membership monthly. And from that, then we had her acquisition, which was this free workshop that she was doing already. So now she has this 3 offer suite sequence, very simple, but very deliberately and strategically designed. She's on her way to hitting 6 figures, working 2 days a week.
She's just shy of 6 figures.
Everyone else was telling her, just add more people on your team, work more hours, work 4 days a week. And she's like, you guys, I can't do that. They weren't listening to her requirements. And it's possible to be very strategic in how you build your offers inside your business.
Right. And so like my point is like, if you have your offers, that if you have your offer, you have your primary offer, you go, okay, I can do this as an acquisition. And if I go really high level, I can do this as an infusion. If you just focus on that, you're not doing anything different than probably what you're doing now. And that's just saying, how many times can I sell this in order for me to make my money? And what soon happens, that's what we call a reactive business, okay? You're reacting to the market. You're putting your offer out there. You're seeing how people are reacting to it, and you're reacting to them. And just like Dina, just like you said, I'm spending a lot of time doing this. The calls are killing me, all this stuff. I'm just going to now reduce my price because I think it's going to fix something, right? I'm going to pull that price lever, and hopefully something ends up like changing. Well, the problem is that we have to be proactive. So when we have these offers, you have to be proactive. You have to know exactly like, listen, I want to work X amount of hours a week. I have these 3 offers. I am going to spend, it's not how much time does this offer take. You look at that, but you go, I'm going to actually fulfill on this for 2 hours through my week. I'm going to fulfill on this for 6 hours during my week. And I'm going to fulfill on that 3 hours a month. If I do that and I can actually get it down to that, I'm within my life that I want to live. I'm within my time I want to live. And I know exactly how many of those I have to sell to get my metrics to my finances. I know it sounds weird, but if you design your business backwards based upon where you want to be and the life you want to live, and then you look at your offers like this, you look at your sequence, you say, now, how do I make that work with what I have in my bag? Right? It's being proactive. It's deliberately and strategically designing everything. And at that point, you sit there and that forces you. If you say I have an acquisition offer and, I can teach them how to set up all their funnels and all the tech stuff and stuff like that. I'm still spending 6 hours a week doing that. That's not what you need to do because you only need to spend 2. That's your goal. So what do you need to automate? What do you need to cut down to make sure that you can still achieve that goal in your 2 hours? It challenges you to be strategic on what you're building and how you're building the fulfillment. Because it's not your offers, it's not the goal. You can make more money. Anyone can make as much money as they want, right? If you have a goal to make $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month, that's fine. Go off and find something you can sell for $10,000 and talk to 50 people a day, and I guarantee you're going to sell it twice in a month. Okay. That's not what you're trying to do. Money is not the goal. Money mixed with a balanced life as a solopreneur, as without the requirement of having huge teams to do things. That's the goal. I mean, when we ask people, it's not, again, it's not building. I want a 7-figure business. Do you know what it means to have a 7-figure business? No, this is what it means. This is what it means. Okay, I don't want a 7-figure business. How much?
I don't.
Right. How
I'm
much?
like,
Yeah.
I've
How
seen
much
too
you
many
do?
people's 7-figure business. I'm like, nah, dude, I like being able to quit work at 2 p.m. Of course, right now I'm giving you guys extra time because guess what? I can.
Yeah.
It's
You're
not like
choosing
this.
to.
All my programs are full right now. Like I'm like, and we want it to get, and that's what tonight's training is all about, is getting you guys to a point to where everyone can just like chill and be helpful and like make money. And so I know I want to be respectful of Jake and Ashley's time because I know we're kind of going over. So let's get into something, because you guys have a really amazing offer that is going to be exclusive to like right now, like the early people, and we're lucky to have them. But I do want, like, is it okay if we do a little Q&A after you guys make an offer? Because I know there's so many people who are like dying to like, I've seen a couple
100%.
of hands raised. You got, we could get a refill on beer or whatever that we want.
We're here for you.
Like,
Bathroom breaks.
Okay, cool. Because here's the thing is like, you guys heard me talk about like, there's so many people who have like high ticket offers, right? How many of you guys are like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be in this program. I wish it wasn't such a high ticket. I wish I could just like pay a little bit and get like, I mean, that's why I ended up doing my premium offer, right? Well, Jake and Ashley have come up with something that is even less than that, and are like willing to help so many people for so little. And so why don't you guys tell them about your new offer, how like awesome it's going to be, and actually you're going to get more of you guys for less money right now. So how does that work? Like what is going on?
We believe good coaching should be accessible.
Yeah.
I think Laurel, we all like are aligned in that for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like everybody, we have big offers. We have very big offers, you know, it kind of moves around, but really, like I said, Ashley started off saying like working with solopreneurs and understanding. I mean, we put out a question the other day asking people what kind of business they want their business to look like.
Yeah.
And very few people, I know the people who said they want big machines, big money, but everyone else said they're like, I'd love to have a solo business where I make, you know, 300,000 a year, 500,000, 200,000, whatever it is, you know, multiple 6 figures, doing it by myself, having the time to do it. That is an early stage person trying to figure that out. Okay. Right. A lot of times people will go way past that and decide that that big machine is not what they want, and they pull back, right? They pull back to that. So early stage people is the person saying, I want that, right? And so we like working with early stage people. So
it's so fun.
So all of our Freedom Framework work that we do with all of our private clients and everything like that, we're like, listen, we need to make this accessible, because instead of doing the pull back down and trying to fix people's businesses, why don't we actually allow people the opportunity to actually start off with the right kind of fundamentals, the right kind of structure. If you can build your business right from the get-go with your 3 containers, knowing how much time you want to work and what that's going to look like, and then have the ability to strategically build these offers to match that and actually make it happen, you're never going to lose, because you're always going to be able to fall back.
You're 20 steps ahead.
Right. So what we did is that we took all of this and we said, listen, let's go ahead and revamp our membership. Okay. We had a membership called Destined to Scale. We still do. It was actually for a different stage people. We said, let's just revamp this. And we changed it around. So we're actually relaunching that membership, and it's only going to be focused on what we talked about today. It's only going to be focused on your 3 containers, your life, your financial, right? And it's kind of the mixture of the time. And then it's only going to be focused on getting that 3 offer sequence nailed down and perfected, right? Launched, set, ready to go. Validated and done. And so it's not going to be this huge thing. Like I said, we're simplifying everything. We're bringing it down, and we're basically saying, you know, why don't we make that accessible to every single person? And that's where we are right now. So right now we're actually relaunching that, and it's $97.
Yep.
Okay. So this is stuff that we basically have private clients anywhere from, you know, 8,000. We have clients up to 17,000 just for going through this and being very, very detailed with them. But this membership is going through the exact same thing. And our founding price right now is $97. So when we talked to Laurel, and we're like, you know, we think that this is actually a great price for people to come in, get the work that they want, get what they need, be able to build a business. And our goal is to grow with people. Our goal is to help people actually take their business, get this actually working and pumping in their business, and eventually grow. Because like I said, we eat our own dog food. Okay. So we have acquisition offers, we have engine offers. This is a new engine offer for us. Okay. And then we do have infusion offers. So so we, like I said, we teach what we do and we do what we teach. And it's kind of, that's the goal, is that we help you actually. A lot of people come in and they have a single offer. So it's like, how do we actually extract that, build our 3, make sure that they're fundamentally like connected, they're cohesive, right? The structure's there, but how is it based upon the life that you want to live, based upon the money you want to make, right?
Yep.
And it's once you have it, it's done. I mean, it's ready to go. So
yeah, and I mean, we love our clients to death, and we have office hours baked inside this membership too, because we realize that the transformation happens between the moments, right? And so it's like we are 100% engaged on board, getting to know your business, and we just really enjoy that strategic perspective on people's businesses, because we know it is difficult when you are the one inside your business to see truly what's happening sometimes. So we bring people in, right? We bring people into our business, and it's like, help us look at this. We need you sitting next to us, beside us, strategically looking at this. And that's our zone of genius, is strategically looking at your offers and your business based on the life and financial goals you have set. We will be able to break down and see which offers are not making sense from a profitability standpoint. How can we make them more profitable? These are all things that are really important, so you guys can create just a well-oiled, simple machine to get you to that goal life that we're all out here for, right? And that's why we jumped out in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And that's why I love this, is because like you guys have done exactly what I did. You took a high ticket offer and just made it super freaking affordable. And I know there's a couple of my premium members on here that I know probably appreciate that. I get on the calls with them and I literally show them like, here's what you need to do. Here's how to do it. And I just, that's why I brought you guys on tonight, because I know that there are so many people here who need that kind of help. They don't need another high ticket program. They don't need another high ticket course. They need someone to just look at what they're doing and say, hey, here's what you need to do. And here's how to execute it. Because I think so many of us have been burned by those high ticket courses. And that's why I just love what you guys are doing.
And the cool thing is about this founders thing is that we decided we were going to load it in and say like, here's all the training and here's this and that. But our big thing, we love live workshops.
We love live training.
So we do like 2 days, we do 4 day stuff, and people go, wow, you do 4-day workshop. We love it. Like we love actually like doing this and working with people and saying like, come back tomorrow with this built and So we actually decided that we're not putting anything in there. We have some of our old stuff. Some of our old stuff in there and stuff like that. But a lot of what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be doing all this live with you guys. Okay. So all of this founding group, we're going to be doing this live 100% with you. So when you come to questions, they're going to be relevant to what you're building right now, right? They're going to be relevant to where you want to go. We're going to be looking over your shoulder and helping you do this. So everything we're doing in this program as a founder coming in right now is going to be 100% live. So
you're gonna essentially, it's like we're growing this membership, but you really are going to be that founding group that,
So it's going to have a co-working feel to it.
Oh yeah.
100%. I mean, that's how
we work anyway.
That's what the office hours are for, right? Like we want to be accessible to help you make impact and transformation. And we are like Laurel, like high intention, high integrity, like never leave anyone just feeling like lost in a crowded sea of group coaching programs.
But that's why this is why this is our engine offer, because we know that we need to spend time in here. Right. We need to spend our time in here. I mean, yes, we can do stuff at a higher level. Ironically, the people that go into our fusion offer and pay us a lot of money, we don't talk to them that often. It doesn't, it doesn't happen because they're already running, right? They're already there and they're big. And once you kind of get up to those higher numbers, that's typically how it works. So keep that in mind. As you move up in your offers into infusion offers, it doesn't mean you're giving more of your time necessarily. Okay. It doesn't mean you're giving more of your time. You're just giving those small, giant leap impact points that they need to continue on. And that's typically what people pay for at that level. But something like this, like we love spending time. So we spend a lot of time on calls. We spend a lot, like I said, Voxer. And we feel like that kind of stuff is just quick, get you the information, check stuff, review it, get it back out, get you moving forward, make sure you're dialed in. But the fact is that we're only looking at 3 offers. Okay. So we want to be very, very clear. We want to be succinct, and we want to make sure that everyone is not moving beyond or past what we're showing you here, because you don't need 12 different offers to build a business. It's actually going to be detrimental to your success. Okay. You need one offer broken into 3 different phases, priced differently, and given to people in different phases. That's it.
So we have a couple of questions, and Leanne is kind of like the exception to usually my typical student. And so she's in an MLM.
Okay.
And you guys know how like MLMs are very, very structured. And one of the things that I always, whenever I'm working with MLMs, I'm like, you can turn that into your own offer, especially even before you get into that. And so I have my own like philosophy on like helping MLM. How would you guys feel about helping her create some offers that fit with her offer in an MLM? Is that it? Would that be something that you guys could work with or not?
So I used to be in an MLM, just so you know. So
we love MLM.
I think that I have tons of respect for people that are running network marketing businesses. So I think it depends on what your company allows you to do. Like I'd really have to learn more about what company you're in and understand what your end goal is, right? And what the company allows you to do on your own. Because I know there's a lot of restrictions too. There's a fair amount of restrictions when it comes to how to operate as an entrepreneur, you know, like, so I don't want to answer because I would, you know what, in that situation, let's jump. We can like jam on that for 15 minutes at some point and see.
Yeah. We've had some past clients we've kind of gone through this with, that they were in MLM, but what they ended up really kind of focusing was on kind of the buckets that people needed in order to be successful in MLM, not particularly that MLM, but just MLM in general. So a lot of people, they kind of follow a very old school kind of just flat, social media pattern. It's just like bug everybody to do this. And maybe lots of MLMs have great trainings now. They've actually gotten caught up with what's happening in marketing. And a lot of them have great training, some don't. But like Ash said, there's a lot of restrictions, but it might be possible. We just have to.
Here's where I would love to see Leanne go, because I know that she's like a go-getter. I would love to see, and this is not my expertise, but it is, I know yours. I would love to see her build her own brand around using her MLM as a tool versus her brand, right? Because so many people build who they are around their MLM. Whereas let's say her MLM goes away, I want her to be her own brand and to come up with some type of ascension ladder, like what you guys do, so that people so she has a really good acquisition and engine offer, to where her MLM, which is kind of like one of the higher ticketed MLMs, is her like infusion if she needs it. But we need some kind of pathway to get her there.
So we actually have a client. We had two MLM past, one current, one past MLM client but she was in a different place, right? So she actually took all of that experience and turned it into more of like a leadership coach for women inside MLM, right? It was all about leadership, motivation, just kind of getting your mind right, because so much of it is mind and leadership skills, right? So once you build this team, how do you lead them down the path, right? And then we have another one that's actually building a personal brand, and her MLM is like a piece of it, but the other aspects of who she is as a person are kind of the highlights as well. So we're building a personal brand out of her platform, if you will.
Yeah. And that's what we looked at. We looked at the first one, and it's like, you have the ability to actually build big teams fast. Why is that? Is it because of the opportunity, or is it because you give people like motivation, or give people, kind of the mental tools that they need in order to make that decision to step forward and help themselves and kind of start businesses and kind of start thinking differently like an entrepreneur? We can utilize that. That's a leadership tool. How do we actually now start to actually take that and turn it into more of a women empowerment leadership?
Well, and just to be totally transparent, like my first offer when I started coaching, because I dipped my toe in entrepreneurship and jumped into my MLM experience and I
Before-
loved it.
Before I yanked your
Before he
foot.
yanked me out of it,
Yeah.
but I loved it. The women were like the community. It was amazing. Like I wouldn't be here if I don't think I did that.
Right.
And my first offer as a coach was helping, because I'm all marketing background, right? Helping women in network marketing establish really strategic social media presences, right? Like how do you go out and from content generation? My first course I ever put out had 200 people enrolled in it like immediately. And I'll tell you what, those women were incredible.
Yeah.
Like what a cool group of women to pull from, because talk about visionaries, right? Like people that are trying to overcome social stigmas around it. And they are like head down, moving forward, such a cool collaborative group of women. And it was incredible. It like hooked me into coaching. I was like, that's it.
It's a hungry crowd. It's definitely
awesome.
It's a motivated crowd. So it's all possible, but
It's a crowd that needs to be taught how to market in a realistic way versus like the way that so many people are being taught. And I just see like so much opportunity for people who are willing to, take it all in, because I've had plenty of students in my premium program who came to me wanting to sell their MLM. Like one of them in particular sold a CBD product. She was part of like the MLM CBD world.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, why are you using this product? Why do you like it? And she was like, well, I've got an autoimmune disease. We turned that into, it became less about her MLM product. We used it as a tool. We turned her into, well, if you're starting on your autoimmune journey, here's a 30-day meal plan, right? And so we turned a 30-day meal plan that she already was doing for herself into
For sure.
the acquisition offer, right?
Mhm.
A 30-day, and she sold it for like $7. She still does this. Her name is Melinda. And then we ascended to people of autoimmune, like a community of people as a membership. And then in that membership, she was like, well, I take the CBD every single day. That's just what she recommended. So she went from having a product that was the crutch of her entire business to it just being a tool that she like recommended. Like I recommend, Interest Explorer for people finding, interest and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's so many opportunities for people who are in that space. I know we're like short on time, and I know Kaya had her hand up at some point. Kaya is a member of my premium membership. She's been one of my clients for a super long time, so I definitely want to make sure that she gets. And I know Doreen also had a question, so I'm trying to look to see everyone who had their hand up, so that we can make sure we get everyone.
We want to help you out.
Hi, Kaya.
Hey.
Hi. Well, I had posted in the chat that one of the struggles I'm having is promoting my intuitive development course specifically to other entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I've seen similar programs for a lot more, upwards of like 11,000, 15,000, and I'm offering mine for 5,000. Laurel's partner actually went through my course. She was my first beta tester. So there's what I call proof of concept. I've done it so far with 3 other entrepreneurs. Honestly, I don't know if it's an internal thing or what's going on, but I've been struggling for the last year to make this offer online.
Like just to say it?
No, not necessarily just to say it, but how to promote it to other entrepreneurs. And I am seeing a trend of in a lot of the business groups that I'm in, where there are more people stepping out and saying, hey, I'm a spiritual teacher, or I do card readings, I teach pendulums and all this stuff, which I think is great. At the end of the day, I tell my students all the time, these are just tools. And at the end of the day, it's like going inward. So I've been doing this kind of work for 21 years now. I've worked with over 4,000 people, both online and offline. So it's not like lack of confidence or something like that. It really is a clarity around how do I get that message out in front of the right people? Because I've done groups where I've had like 200 to 300 people in the group. But then when I go to make the offer, I won't get anyone purchasing, right?
I think she needs a good acquisition offer, because like Christina worked with her personally. Christina now has like taken everything that Kaya has shown her and has just ran with it. I think Kaya, like she has a really good high ticket. She just needs that acquisition offer to get people into that so that they can ascend to that high ticket.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because So what did you call it at first?
Intuitive.
Intuitive.
Intuition development,
Okay.
but it's specific to business owners. I call it developing your inner CEO.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
I know
it's
quite
really
a few
awesome. It's really
successful-
awesome because like she helps business owners like me tap into their intuition in order to make like business decisions. Like one of the first times that Kaya, hopefully this is okay for us to share, but like when Christine and I were traveling one time, we met up with Kaya, and Kaya was literally able to say, Laurel, you need to make Christina equal, like part, like she's good at this, and that was all from her intuition. And so she actually helps business owners develop that intuition in order to make smart decisions in their business, which is freaking awesome.
Okay. So
That is
at
awesome.
first I was going to say it's a very, you know, those kind of offers can be a little bit like intangible. You know what I mean? So it's
I've heard a lot of people tell me this is a soft offer,
Right,
you know,
right.
like
But just you saying intuition, kind of like developing your inner CEO, all of a sudden it puts there's a result base to that, because if I can develop my inner CEO, if I can start thinking like a business owner versus someone who's just trying to build something or make something work, I'm already going to make smart, intelligent decisions that align with me. And if I do that, I always win. Right. So like even that like immediately goes, okay, that's already a different story right there. Right. Is that worth $5,000? Absolutely. Do I maybe need to go through something just to show me that power, like one little switch that I can flip, that the next time I run into a barrier that I'm having, all of a sudden I immediately go, I remember what Kaya said. Okay, let me think about this differently. Right. Let me approach this with different view, right? A different lens. Right. So if you could change just one lens of how I view something within my life that I'm struggling with, then I go, oh my gosh, this works. This changes. What next? I need more. You know what I mean? Like this really does change the way that I look at stuff. Because I mean, Laurel, like you said, if she's looking at you saying like, you need to make Christy a full partner and do this, and it changes the dynamic. Both sides win, positive feelings. Everyone's up. Everyone's more energized, business cohesive, moves forward. Everybody is like, oh, that was amazing. It's kind of like you unlock something just with one little thing, right? That one little thing is like, if you can just show people that, they can't unsee it. They can't unlearn it, right? They can't go back to what they did before, you know? So yeah. I look at that and I go, okay, so the whole thing is a package. Ooh, man, that's a big education point. I might understand it. I might go, that's nice, but what else do I need to invest in? Where else do I need to go? Or is that a big enough problem with me?
Well, what got us hooked with Kaya, and Kaya, like, take this however you want. I think your acquisition offer could literally, like, that would be the doors, how to use tarot or pendulum to make smart business decisions, because like that alone right there has moved me, like, and I know we're getting into like kind of spiritual stuff, but seriously, like that has been like pivotal moves in our business, being able to tap into my wife's intuition using those tools. If you can just get that one small win, whether it's like a $37 course on how to use pendulum to make smarter business decisions, boom, you get them into that and that works. You're sending them straight to your high ticket. I don't even think you need a middle offer. You could probably go from small offer, like straight to like the other.
I would agree. And so like your 5,000 will now become your engine. Okay. That's your engine. So you can go higher than that. I mean, you can go deep. You can go like, hey, listen.
I mean, you could think like retreat stuff, right? If you want to go like big infusion, mastermind stuff.
Infusion offer is not like, how can I get closer and start working one-on-one with people? Infusion offer is, how do I get cash waterfalls within the business that ease out my lulls, that allow me cushion, that gives the business actually investment money, that's not making me dip into my wallet to pay for life. Okay. That's what infusion offers for. So like Laurel said, the sweet thing about doing something like that up the front is that anyone who buys that will be your perfect client. Okay. That's not someone saying like, oh, I want empowerment, or I want to make better decisions, or this. That's someone that's saying, I am interested in how to use, I believe in pendulum. I trust that. I'm open-minded. I understand it. I want to learn about it. And if she can show me how to make simple, better decisions using it, that person right there is already on your alignment path. They're already on
Yeah.
your journey. So I think that's perfect. But yeah.
You know, it's interesting because as I'm listening to you guys, I took a moment to talk to my daughter. She's 20 years old now. She just took a job 2 days ago and something about it was off. And I asked her, I said, can I ask you a question for a minute? And I said, sit down right here. Cause she came and gave me some cash. It was her tip money from today. And she sat down and I said, I have a very serious question for you. I said, why did you choose to go get a job now? And she goes, because of you, Mom. So my bank account, two of my crypto accounts were hacked and my bank accounts were wiped out. We're talking like $9 grand.
Oh,
It
wow.
was an ouch moment. It was like, what the F?
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to recoup from it, but still it put us in a big bind.
Yeah.
So her response was, I'm going to go get a job. Right. And things lined up. She had just gotten a job offer the day prior to this happening.
Wow.
So she sits down, I ask her the question and I said, I want you to tell me, why did you do it? She said, for you. And I said, look, I'm all about breaking ties, breaking energetic bonds. I'm the person that sacrificed so much for my family. I'm the eldest, 5 boys. Mom went through a lot of stuff growing up. I said, I want you to choose to have your job for you and not because you're trying to help me. Because right now you're mirroring that I'm helpless, that I can't do this on my own. The minute I said that to her, her face changed, her eyes changed, her posture changed, her energy shifted. Now, as a parent, I wouldn't have paid attention to those things before.
Mhm.
I would have been like, my kid's amazing. She's like being responsible and she's being helpful. So I'm listening to you guys and I'm going, 2 years ago, I started teaching something called energy expansion and I stopped because I kept thinking, this isn't giving me the results that I want. Right. And I've heard you guys say something about integrity and impact.
Oh yeah.
That's what got me. I already signed up for your guys' $97 a month thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited. But I'm saying all this because the stuff that I want to teach people isn't just about business. This is life-changing stuff. Like
Exactly. I was going to say that. I was like, what you just did there. I mean, what you're doing, and we call it's generational.
Yeah.
So you teaching someone how to do that is breaking generational chains.
Yes.
Because people, I mean, and you know this, and I mean, this is our parenting coach.
We have a parenting coach client who
her and I just mind meld on this stuff, but like, we mirror how we are raised. Whether or not we think we're different, we do the same thing. And whether or not we grow up and go, we're going to be different and we live our lives, when we make little people, we end up falling back on what we know is how we end up raising them and how we do. So the stuff like that, what you're talking about is breaking generational changes. It's basically saying like, don't do this because you think, you know what I mean? It's important. That's important stuff. I love that. I absolutely.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
So choose and choose powerfully. So thank you. I'm looking forward. I don't know when the course starts or when you guys do all that stuff, but I'm looking forward to coming up with my engine offer. I think that's what you guys called it.
Yeah.
We need an acquisition offer for her first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I need something we can run ads to.
Yeah. So
Yes,
just to be clear, as everyone's going off and they're thinking about this stuff, really honestly, engine offers you probably have something that can be an infusion offer. What we need to do is develop engine offer. And if we have engine offer and we can break off acquisition, those two things alone will completely change your business. Infusion offer can come afterwards. Okay. So a lot of people go, oh, they need this huge thing. It's like, we need to design, and that's why we designed the business intentionally based on financials needs, based on time and everything like that.
Right.
Because the reason why people go off and chase these things of saying like, I'm going to sell something for $10,000 is because they're just thinking about the money and that's going to fix everything, because they're not intentional on what they need and how much time they need to do.
Well, and so which that leads me to like one of the first live trainings we do is more of that 3 container training.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go before we build anything? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Like, what do you want it to look like? And then we kind of reverse engineer it all.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of the first live trainings that we do, which is for me, I love that because it allows you a moment and you can do it like dream real big. And then you can even bring it in closer to like, what do I need to do in the next year? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll walk you through that, our whole strategy for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you,
Yep.
guys.
Thank you, Kaya. So
Kaya.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, we'll go to Doreen and then we'll cut it short. But I do know that you guys did a private training for your students.
You did.
So in addition to this, so what I'm gonna do in the back office is obviously I'm gonna put this replay in there. But they do have an amazing free training that I'm gonna put inside the back office that they did for their private clients that actually walks through a couple of these steps of how to design this offer and doing the math and all of that fun stuff. We just felt tonight it was gonna be more of kind of a little jam session because they did have this training that they were gonna give to me to give to you guys. And so I'll make sure that we put that in there along with the link that they've so graciously given you guys $97 access. They are going to be launching this at $197. So just know that that's why a lot of people are like, why is Laurel? I'm like, well, because they're giving you guys a special deal. So the link, I just put it inside the chat. So if you guys want in, I put the link inside the chat, grab that. I am going to put it underneath the replay. And then I am going to also put the training that they did for their private students that literally is an over the shoulder, like here's the slides, here's how to do this, here's how we actually design these offers for our students. So
it's for the visual people out there like me.
Yeah. And so and that link, like you said, that link, when you click on that, you will see only the $97 pricing and stuff. So that's what that is. So yeah.
Because you my peeps, you guys get the $97.
That's right.
We had to end in a 7. I think we had
to end in a 7. That's like my thing is like I've been so aligned with the number 7, so I don't know.
I know. I
don't know if it makes a difference, honestly.
I
don't know.
It just feels good.
Right. I was gonna be all crazy and just go 99. Right? This is big deal. Yeah. So
Doreen, what's up?
Okay, well, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Doreen.
I use the 97 and the 7 as well.
There you
back
go.
in the days. So I'll make this really short and sweet. First of all, I want to thank you guys. I've learned a lot.
Good.
What I've done my entire adult life is I was a high school counselor.
Oh.
So it's basically a ministry is to help students and parents kind of sort out the whole high school, college application process.
I love that.
So I've been on my own full-time since, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And my question, I'll make it real simple, is I've got 3 offers. I've done this my entire life. So I kind of know, working at a school for 28 years, I know exactly like when the parents come see me 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I mean, I can close my eyes, I can write a book. I know what they're feeling. And 4 of my own children, my last one just graduated from college. So this is all I do. I mean, it's like I'm in one little baby bubble, which is kind of pathetic, but I love it. So my question to you is, I have 3 offers. My first offer is when I meet with the family, it's basically, I call it a navigation session. Everything is navigating, what detour are you going to get? So it's all kind of, that more of a visual. And my navigation session is untimed, either Zoom or in person if they're local. And it's basically a strategy call, a strategy session. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? And I built a roadmap. So it's college prep roadmap. And I built 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. It's basically your GPS to college. So if I handed you all 4 years, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and you were on an island all by yourself and you followed the roadmap, it literally would get you to graduation, college applications, to the right people and the support people on your high school campus. I'm not replacing anybody. I'm just going to keep pushing you up that mountain. And I built this roadmap. My question to you is, when I have the navigation session, it's $497, untimed. Usually the max is 2 hours. And then I give them the roadmap. So if they're done and they want to do it on their own, they have the tools to do that, or follow it and use their high school as their, because maybe they're a public school and that's all they have, allotted for counseling. Totally fine with that. If they want to partner with me, full partnership program, I'll hold your hand. I'll hear you when you cry. I'll hear you when you waited to the last minute to turn something in. I know. That's $29.97. So that's $3,000. So those are my 2 offers. So I inserted another one. What if I don't have the means? And I'm very sensitive to money cost because I know what it costs to raise children. My kids went to private school. Don't ask me why. Just because I felt like it was a lot of common feelings and values, etc. So I'm very sensitive to that. So I do have a membership program. I have no one in there because it's brand new, and I think I changed it. I think it's either 37 or 47. It doesn't matter because I haven't even in there. And they get my roadmap and their videos of me. So I have over 190 some videos where they can click on the video, they can read the checkpoint, and then they can hear me expand and do the narrative. So my question to you is, sorry about that. I just wanted to give you like my 3
No,
areas.
that's good. Yeah.
I do navigation session first because I need to know where they're at.
Yeah.
But now that I'm listening to what you're saying, kind of the acquisition, that low ticket would be like, hey, here's my roadmap. And then you've got access to my online videos. And then now I do a once a week Q&A. So they can follow it, read it, and then we can chat once a week about those points, but not too specific about their child. Would that be my acquisition, or would the 2-hour strategic navigation session be my acquisition? You
No.
probably don't have a
No, I don't think
No.
that would be, that
No.
2-hour private thing would not be your acquisition.
That, I mean, so it's untimed. So you said it lasts 2 hours, and
Yeah.
I can tell that you're
going to over deliver.
going to over deliver. You're going to make sure they know exactly what's going on. I'm sure you've gone over 2 hours before.
no more than 2.5. I
Okay.
mean, it's been no more than 2.5, and yeah, that's the max.
Okay. Well, so let me ask. So you said that's $297?
$497.
$497.
Okay, so it's $497. And that's, as of right now, that's the only way that they get introduced to you, correct? I mean, that's their first step of becoming a client of yours,
That
right?
would be my first one, but I do
Okay.
have the membership one, which
Right.
could be.
Now, how many people continue on to the 3,000?
I'm not really, I don't have a tracking number, but I would say like right now for my juniors, I have 7. And
Okay.
so they did the navigation session and they hopped into their juniors, and they'll work with me till the end of the senior year. A lot of them, I give so much information in my navigation session, plus my roadmap,
Yeah.
which I kind of like that. Like,
Wait, I have a
Yeah.
question. So they pay $3,000, and then these families can work with you for like 18 months.
So have you ever done a profitability
Breakdown
breakdown?
analysis
of my clients.
of your
of your
programs.
program, of your time? No.
Okay, that would be a really
Yeah.
A good place to
eye-opening.
start.
I think it'd be eye-opening for
yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Because okay, so both things are.
Well, I love your offer, by the way. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely. But I look at it and I go, okay, so right now your initial offer is you, and then your second offer is more of you, right? And proportionally, they probably don't work out the right way. You might be making more off your front than you do off your back, depending on how long
Mhm.
your first offer versus your second, depending on how many hours you put in over the 18 months or, however it is. But honestly, it's kind of like that initial meet with you. I kind of look at that and I go, okay, so if you're kind of basically, and you're kind of doing it with the membership, you're basically saying like, listen, how can I do this to where people can self-guide and get them there? But you said, I need an origin point. I need to be able to talk with you first to figure out what you want to go, right? That was kind of the whole reason why you developed the
initial
navigation.
right.
Right. And so I wonder if it can be, I wonder if there's, I'm sure there is, I'm sure there's a way to figure it out to where that conversation can be had once maybe they have a little bit more information about where they want to go. Because there's probably there's a lot of discovery going on there, I would imagine. Like they're starting green. what are you going to ask me? And you start asking them questions and they go, well, maybe this way, or maybe I feel like this, and I kind of like this, and I kind of like that.
And there's the survey, and they upload transcripts, and they upload test scores. I get all of that
Yeah.
before we meet.
wow.
So I'm doing my homework before the meeting.
So you're
Yeah.
spending more, how many hours per?
Like 45 minutes before a meeting. Because
So it could be like
it's kind of
3.5 hours. It could be like
Pardon
a
me?
3.5 hour max investment for you.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, is there a sales call involved?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They usually, and it's all been organic. I haven't had any paid
Yeah.
Yeah.
ads yet. They just kind of word of mouth and referrals, because I've been doing it for over 32
I'd love
years.
to see like
Yeah.
a lower ticket
Yeah.
acquisition offer
Typically we like acquisition offers to be like,
prior to.
I mean, basically like by the time they got to that call, I want them to already have gone through the stuff, understand kind of where you would push them, you kind of guiding them, saying like, listen, based upon this, this is the kind of path. If you want to do this, at least have a better understanding to where you're not on the phone for 3 hours. You're on the phone for, less time than that. They do get some guidance from you, but that's a larger package. Like they've already decided of saying like, I would like to talk to Doreen more. And then your $3,000 one, which could be more expensive or whatever, because that's 18 months. That's a long time. That's a really long time to be tied to somebody.
And they don't do anything. Literally, they're high school kids, so they're just kind of like waiting until the last minute.
Yeah.
So I'm emailing
Yeah.
them, and I'm like, I will kill you and pull your hair out.
See, and
They're
that's
like,
so.
okay, I'm gonna go
So
to
that's
football
that's
practice.
what everyone has to understand this too, is that there's an emotional cost to all of our offers. There's a cost on their end. They're going to pay us, but there's an emotional cost to every single one of our offers that we put out into the market because of
Right.
that kind of stuff. I'm going to
Yeah.
email you every week. You're driving me
I'm
crazy.
wondering if there's some kind of checklist, Doreen, that you can put together
Yeah.
that would be super easy for you. Like what is it? Because Jeff always tells the story of how like you sold 12 out of 12 people. Like one time he set you up to where like you had 12 sets of parents, and you sold, like when you spoke, you sold all 12 people into your program. I would like to see you like do that as like whatever that was as your acquisition offer. Either that or like some kind of checklist, because like I know, like as someone who went through the whole FAFSA and all of that stuff, like getting into college and scholarships and grants and all of that, it would have been amazing to just have some kind of checklist. Like,
Yep.
here
Like a
are
mini
things
workshop.
that, like you need to have
And I
in
have
order.
the checklist.
Like
Yeah.
a mini workshop type with a
Well,
checklist would be huge.
So, and we kind of designed something like this before, is where we've had a very kind of detailed initial kind of self-assessment kind of thing that ended with them saying like, listen, based upon where you are, it's like, we're now going to show you how to do and navigate this. And it goes into basically a mini workshop, which is the acquisition, but there might be 2 of them. There might be 3 of them, depending on where they ended up on the assessment of where they want to go. I have to know more about exactly
Right.
the insides and outs of your offer, but I think the goal would be to get you off of those calls at that level and that's what I'm saying. You're doing a lot of work saying, I wish you already had this before you came to me. Right. And I wish, you know what I mean? That's kind of the thing. So yeah, I mean, you would definitely push that off to the front. That would be more of a self-discovery kind of acquisition base that's still going to end them. They can end with the map, something that's more dialed in and detailed to the answers based on, responses that they gave, that they go, okay, now I know exactly what I need to do. What next?
Maybe the membership is the perfect kind of engine offer to your business.
Right. And so, and then your 18-month, thing, and you can pick and choose. So not every kid that comes in there, you pick the families that are self-starters. You pick the
Right.
families that are going like, no, we're on this track. We're going to do it. The parents that are going to be involved enough to say, my kid's not going to miss a week dealing with this because this is important to us. So you pick and choose those people, and you can charge more, but whatever, but you're not reliant on them getting to that $3,000 end in order to run your business.
Right.
And
Yes.
again, it goes down to knowing your numbers, knowing your hours, knowing your fulfillment, and really kind of understanding it. And
I think you would find, if you did a profitability analysis, I think you would find on that $497 offer that you wouldn't like. I don't think you would like the result of a profitability analysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And-
And even on your $3,000 offer, I think that we'd average out how much average time you're spending on these, these clients. Is it a 12-month average, right? But how much time is actually going into fulfilling on this? How much chasing time are you actually putting into this? Like, and then starting to think about that, because if your adjusted hourly rate is under $100, right? $50, like, you don't know what it is. It could be an eye-opening.
We see kind of offers like that where people go, well, I spend this and I spend a lot of time on the phone, and then I follow up with this and that. And once we break it down, they're making $45 an hour. And I go, that's great, but that's not why you got into this,
Right.
Like, that's not why we did this.
Let's look at it a little different.
Yeah. And so it's yeah. But the cool thing is that you have everything there.
Yeah.
You have the pieces, the pieces of your profit puzzle are there. We just need to figure out where to put them.
Like how to
right. And then
organize them.
And then where they go. And
but I'd love like a mini workshop with a checklist, some sort of, if it's like an essay cheat, like
scorecard,
creating a scorecard, creating a perfect essay, whatever that could be.
Right.
Could be really cool on the front end acquisition offer.
Thank you. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this has been amazing. And I just want to be very respectful of like Jake and Ashley's time. Like we have already like gotten 2 hours out of them. I know, and they put together an amazing offer for you guys. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank Jake and Ashley for being here, because it took a lot of mental power to just off the fly, just be able to just help people. And I'm just eternally grateful for that, because like,
love it.
Oh man, these calls are my favorite, like out of like all of my, like, that's why I love my premium program. That's why I love my $7 program. Like I love these calls because that's where all the magic happens. And I love, and thank you to Doreen and to, Kaya and to, everyone who's allowed us to just kind of like use them as an example, Dina, and just like be able to like give a clear example of like how you could actually put that into play. It's just amazing. And so like, I have put the link in the comments, like in the chat. If you guys are interested in joining them, like you're going to get more of this, like what we've done tonight, like they're going to be doing this on your calls. And, I'm just, Jake and Ashley, thank you so much for you guys went above and beyond. Like you guys went super above and beyond tonight. And I just really, really appreciate it.
Well, we geek out on strategy and vision, and that's really what we have. Like Dedu sounded like our zone of genius. It's like, let's look at this, like, let's lay it out, look at it and help you see what you just can't see because you're just too close to it.
Yeah. And I had spreadsheets lined up. I had everything on.
I mean, he does.
I was like itching. I was itching to be like, look what I can, but no, I just love stuff like this. So I could talk about this for,
he's a techie
do this for
guy.
days.
We loved it though. And Laurel, thank you so much. We totally love your guidance and leadership and support. And thank you guys for being here. You stuck around for 2 hours and 10 minutes. And
and I see some of you, like, I see some people joined. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
thanks, guys.
So we're looking.
Well, it's a no-brainer offer. Like anyone who's like really serious about like taking their business to the next level. It's like I said, your offer is something I wish I would have had 2 years ago whenever I started my thing, because I went through the willy-nilly thing of getting all these coaches input on things that I didn't really need, and doing something that's aligned with the lifestyle, right? Like, everyone wants to see me scale, but it's like, but they don't understand I don't want employees, right? And so it's really cool to have someone come in and just like work with people where they're at and where they actually want to be, not what's like best for the the coaching program, best for the testimonial wall.
I mean, it's not about a cookie cutter strategy, and that's what we said when we were doing this. Like, what is the thing we wish we had when we were starting that's not an $8,000 program? Like, what is that thing but though filled with coaches that have a lot of integrity and are really connected to your result? And we don't want people to ever feel like a number. I think that's our biggest fear. But we also believe that really good coaching, just like Laurel's, it's accessible to people. Like, it shouldn't be behind this giant high ticket wall. And we also don't want people, and Laurel, we talked about this earlier. I think it's so important because you're going to want to scale your business at some point, whatever that means to you. So why throw out all of the money you have set aside to build this dream of yours, this business of yours, in a huge giant ticket coaching program that leaves nothing left over for you to actually, when that time comes, for you to invest in the business,
I-
right? So
I said, I mean, I honestly
don't
and-
deplete everything at the beginning.
And that comes from running budgets, of saying like, I need to know, like, there's a cost to growth. There's an investment cost to growth. And if my investment level to learn eclipses my budget to grow, it's like, yeah, and I get it. I understand. You got to invest up front. You got to do
You
this
gotta
stuff.
do it,
And that's
yeah.
more of a mental thing. That's a believing in you, kind of burning the ships and all this stuff. But really, a business has to have fuel to fuel growth, right? And which is why we have infusion offers. But at the same time, it's like, why deplete all the resources in order to actually get to that phase that you need, right? So, you know, I don't know. I think the whole thing is it's needed, it's required, and yeah, and really, honestly, I just get frustrated with all the shiny stuff that people throw in their baskets. That is, again, it's reacting, and
It's
so
just clogging up the
yeah.
process.
So that's why I said, let's just start with the fundamentals. Let's figure out your containers, and from there, if you see something shiny and it fits within your goal based on your containers, throw it in your basket, you know, but at least be so strategic in knowing what you need to do that shiny object is not shiny anymore. It's required, right? And
I throw lots of shiny stuff in my basket.
yeah, I love shiny.
I admitted earlier on our premium call today, I was like, I am a $37 a haul. Like something actually really cool happened today, like on one of our premium calls. Like one of my newest students, he said what his offer was, and I was like, oh my God, I bought your offer like months ago and I still haven't looked at it because I'm a $37 a haul. Like, and it was just really cool, but it was just like one of those things that it is all about, like, yeah, you can buy all the shiny objects and stuff, but if you don't need it, just leave it and then go back to it like whenever you do have the time to do it. Because right now I'm finding the time where I'm like, I've got everything optimized. Now I can go back and look at all of the other things and see if it fits into what I'm doing.
I would say most
sure.
shiny objects are required. They're just bought way too early. They're bought out of step. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's shiny, but it's shiny for a reason, because it's aspirational. You want to be in the place where you actually need that thing, but you're not there yet. So don't buy it right now. You go back and buy it. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it's shiny object stuff, buying that, I love it. It's like endorphin rush to buy 37, 20. I love buying stuff like that, but I at least have to know it's strategic to what I'm trying to accomplish and it fits within my system, my goals.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense. It's not shiny, it's required. That's like, you know.
I know the other day Nick told me, because I'm always like doing something and I always have like all these ideas, and that's what's important about like having a mentor. Like Jeff and Nick like are awesome, to where like I will tell Nick, I was like, I've got this thing, and he's like, stop working on that and go have a drink with your wife on the beach. Like, why are you making up things for yourself to do? You got yourself where you wanted and you're just creating yourself more work. And that really like stuck with me this week. I was like, I'm like I got used to the process that I forgot that I got to where like I am, because so many of us, as we're building our businesses, we do get addicted to the process. And when we don't have anything to do, we think that there's something to do. So we create extra.
You make it up.
Well, it's because we've been lied to that the hustle and the grind, you know, and like
the grind's addicting. It's addicting.
I love Gary Vee, but the fact is like, you can sleep when you're a millionaire, but you know, it's kind of like
you don't want to live with me if I don't sleep.
Right. Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is that grind is kind of like right. If you know exactly what,
it's a little addictive.
Like we break it down to the fact of saying like, again, I want to work within these hours. After 3:30, I'm done. And I know exactly what I need to accomplish by that time. And if I accomplish stuff by that time, shut down. Go have a drink on the beach.
But it's discipline to do that. It's discipline.
It's hard to do.
It's really hard to do. It's hard to quiet it down, because the entrepreneurial brain never stops moving.
But the biggest thing is that you'll never be able to do it unless you actually see it. And that's one of our biggest goals, is like, we gotta have the map. We gotta
help you see where you're going.
I have to have that map. And that's the only way I accomplish it. If not, man, I mean, my brain, I just go off in so many different directions that I kind of go, like, I don't know what I did today. I ended up on some crypto site, you know, and I spent 3 hours doing, you know, so it's kind of crazy. So
it's weird how the entrepreneurial unwinds.
Yeah.
Not how I did it when I was in corporate.
My unwinding is looking at like spreadsheets. Yeah. Let me relax and do some numbers. Yeah. So,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
either way. Very
Oh
cool.
my
You guys are
goodness.
awesome.
Thank you so much, Jake and Ashley, for being
But we got
here.
our puppers here too.
Yeah.
Oh, look. This is our new puppy. I don't know
I
if
was
you
gonna
guys
say.
noticed. Oh my God, I had to turn my camera off. Did anyone notice that my little puppy like literally went on
Yes,
campus with a
I
shit?
totally saw
during
that.
the-
Sorry.
I was
She's
like,
trying to make
oh my
out.
God, did that just happen?
I know.
This little guy's been on our feet this entire
This
time.
is Boomer.
Yeah.
Hi, Boomer. This
Say
is
hi. Look at that baby.
I was gonna say, I know she had a new,
Hi,
a new
I know.
dog.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, he's little. He's like 5 months old. He's a little golden Yorkie.
Oh,
He's trouble.
I love fluffy babies. Oh,
And Billy, I saw that you raised your hand before. If you want, you can just reach out to me and we can jam and I can answer any kind
Okay,
of questions
thank
that you
you,
have.
thank you.
And you can look me up on
he's like a major kisser.
on Facebook. I'm under Jacob Olkis, not Jake on Facebook. I'm all professional on Facebook now.
Okay, awesome.
fancy.
I'll reach out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely, Billy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And well, I will see you guys in the group. Like I said, I'll upload this replay and I'll put the private training that they did for their students too, so
Very
that
cool.
you guys can take a look at that too. So
Yeah, definitely check that out if you're like visual and you want to kind of see how it all breaks down.
I got fancy slides and
It's
stuff.
20 minutes with fancy slides.
Yeah.
And yeah, check it out. And yeah, reach out to Jake or me, Ashley Olkis on Facebook if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Ashley Lucky Olkis, actually.
Yeah, just shoot us a message and we'll answer any questions you have or
Yeah,
or whatever.
Leanne, absolutely reach out.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a good night.
Thanks,
Yeah,
you
thank
too.
you.
So glad to see all the beautiful faces, even if
I
it's just a
know.
platform.
What a great group.
yeah. It's awesome.
Thank you, Laurel.
You're very welcome. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Good night, you guys.
Good night.